If you feel like there's just never enough time, that you're running around doing all this stuff, working so hard, but somehow feeling like you're getting nothing done, then this video is for you. I want to break down how one $5 million founder made a single change to his business and freed up 20 hours a week and is now on track to bring in the next 7 figures of growth into his business. This is about reclaiming your time so you can work on your business instead of being buried working in it. So to start, this founder was putting in 60, 70-hour weeks every single week. He was running around, he was on every single meeting, he was answering every single team question, every single client fire. While his team was supporting him, he was pretty much running this business single-handedly. And it all worked great until he hit 5 million. At 5 million in annual revenue, he literally could not work any harder. He could not hustle his way to 10 million. He had literally just maxed out on the time and the energy that he could spend in his business to drive growth. And try as he might, he could not break past this revenue ceiling. When we came in and we did our operational audit, we identified one thing that was keeping him trapped in the weeds. As soon as we worked with him to clear that one bottleneck, within 90 days, he had freed up 20 working hours every single week. He was able to reinvest that time into sales and marketing and growth, and he's now on track to expand his business nationally and bring in an additional multi-7 figures in growth in the next 12 months. So without further ado, what was this one thing? When we took a look and we really simplified it down, the truth came out that this founder was spending most of his time not doing his job, right? His job was to be the CEO, the visionary, the founder, but he was spending most of his time doing other people's jobs. He was jumping on sales calls instead of letting his closer handle their most important clients. He was handling all of the back-end client fires and client escalations instead of his highly paid and well-trained account management team. When we really looked, what we found is that he was consistently stepping out of the CEO role and putting on everybody else's hat inside of the business to do the hardest parts of their job for them. And here's the thing, he is not alone. I see so many founders make this mistake where we believe that because we're the founder and because we're the CEO, our job, like in the job description, our job is to do whatever the company needs, pretty much. To wear any hat, to fill any gap, to solve every single problem, to make every decision, to be everywhere at once. We think that that's just what it takes, and that's just what comes with the territory of being an entrepreneur and being a founder. And I simply could not disagree more. That is not your job. And us holding on to all of the hats and keeping what we would call role clarity inside of our business super jumbled and super disorganized, we're actually costing ourselves growth, costing ourselves profit, and undermining our team's ability to do their best work. One of the most important things we work on with every single client is restructuring their team, their org chart, and bringing in role clarity so that the founder once and for all can get out of the weeds. So I'm going to walk through how we do that. But before I do, there is a tool that we provide to our clients when we do this work called the Leadership Scorecard. You can grab it. It's totally free. It's down in the description, and it is going to walk you through the process as well as give you templates to start building out role clarity inside of your business, beginning with your leadership team. So before we keep going here, grab that tool, pull it up, follow along, and let's dive into this. I first want to call bullshit on that underlying founder belief, which is I have to figure everything out and I have to be everything for my business. No, you don't. And here's how I know. Because if I gave you $100 million, just gave it to you, $100 million to start your business, what would you do with it? Would you start small, just you, figuring out every single problem before you hired it out and wearing every single hat in the business? Of course you wouldn't. You would go out, you would hire a massive, awesome A-player team immediately to come in and do the thing so that you never have to, right? So then there's nothing in the founder job description that says we have to be every role, wear every hat, solve every problem, do everything. The reason we fall into this pattern is because if we are bootstrapping, meaning we have to start with $0 and we have to be so scrappy and on such a tight budget every single step of the way, then in that environment, we are forced to figure everything out. We are forced to wear every hat because we just simply don't have the budget to do it any other way. And that's fine, and that's great, and it's amazing, and it's actually incredible if you as a founder successfully got through that initial stage of growth, figured everything out, and now you do have the budget to hire. The problem is that if we hold on to this belief that it's our job to do everything because that's what made us successful when we started, we will carry that belief into how we build, run, and scale our team. We will put the pressure on ourselves to wear every hat and have everything figured out in a role before we hire it out. We will hire people who we can coach and train in exactly how we would do it instead of giving them the autonomy to come in and tell us how it should be done. We will under budget for talent, and we will hire in people who lack experience as opposed to hiring the A players who can bring all of that knowledge into the business to shortcut our learning curve and solve our problems. So I want to be very clear. Your job as a founder is not to do everything. That is something that you had to do because you had no other option. And you were successful not because of that behavior, but despite it. And now, as you have grown and scaled, that is no longer required. With each new person that we hire, the moment that person comes in, we need to be designing clear roles and responsibilities, creating that role clarity for them, and then in its entirety, taking the hat off of our head and putting it on their head. When we hire in an account manager, it is no longer our job to handle client fires. When we hire in a salesperson, it is no longer our job to close deals. It is our job to know how to hire A players and know how to onboard and train them so that we feel comfortable and confident handing off the entirety of the hat. Our job is team building. Our job is leadership. Our job is to be the CEO founder and to systematically take every single other hat in our business off of our head. So to circle all the way back to our original founder, this is what we found, and this is how we helped him. We helped him systematically audit and identify all of the places where he was still holding onto his team's hats, where he was stepping in to do their tasks or make their decisions or solve their problems or do their jobs for them. And then we went one by one, and we identified why was he still holding on. Was it because he lacked a process or a system that would create quality and accountability in that area? Was it because he had a people gap, like he didn't have the right person in the role with the skills to do it as well as or better than he did? Or was it a training problem where he had the right person, but he had never sat down and taken the time to train and onboard them in such a way where that work got done without him? So while it took a little bit of time, 90 days, by the end of this process, the result is that we had freed up 20 hours of his time every single week. A full 20 hours was being spent doing not his job, doing everyone else's job, and telling himself that that's just the way it is because I'm the founder. And my hope for you, if you're still watching this, is that you may be recognizing that belief inside of yourself. And my hope is that this video is giving you a permission slip to break that belief, to set it down, and instead ask yourself the question, where am I doing my team's jobs for them? And what would need to be true for me to feel comfortable and confident handing that back to them once and for all? Now, I know that all sounds well and good in theory, but in practice, there is a lot holding us back from trusting our team with the most important, highest leverage tasks across the business. And if I was to analyze the hundreds of teams and founders that we have helped go through this process and distill it down to one thing that made the difference, it would be ownership. Learning as a leader about how to transfer ownership to your team. This is such an important concept. It is so important that I created an entire and separate video just on this, walking you through how to build a team that takes radical ownership for their roles so that you don't have to. So you can check it out. It should be popping up in the corner. Enjoy your newfound freedom, and I will see you over there.